After almost 8 years since Mermaid Tales Season 1 aired, we finally have received this year Mermaid Tales Season 2. Oh, I'm so excited! It's been going so well, I love it! And it just doesn't feel like a continuation of the story itself. It's more like we're watching Jessica return back to the roots of her channel, which is of storytelling, and this time with more experience and confidence, and she even tailored it to the audience now. She made it more mature since the audience has aged since then. And honestly, I didn't expect the difference between Season 1 and Season 2 to feel this noticeable. Not just in the budgeting and the animation quality she puts into it now, but also the story writing. It's really different, but in a good way. Especially as someone who grew up watching these roleplays back to back to back, from Minecraft Diaries to the beginnings of My Street to her side quest stories like Phoenix Drop Days or Phoenix Drop High. All these other stories, it's incredible just to see it come back. The animation this time around feels more expressive. The emotional scenes just hit harder, and even the pacing feels way more intentional now. But what really surprised me was how Season 2 managed to improve while still keeping that same emotional charm it had back in the olden days. That's what makes Mermaid Tales special in the first place, and even the progression of Season 2. Bonjour! Hi everyone, it is Anna WolfHero, and today I wanted to compare Mermaid Tales Season 1 and Season 2. Not just as a fan, I'm more like a supporter of her channel. Like, I really genuinely enjoy all her stuff. But also as someone who wants to become a story writer herself and be a creator someday. But that could actually happen a lot sooner than you think if you, subscribe and like this video. It really will help the boost. Anyways, let's get back. I think Mermaid Tales is a really interesting and excellent example on how a story can grow alongside its creator. Season 1 came out years ago, and now, after such a long gap, Season 2 feels more cinematic, more emotionally mature, and more confident in its writing. But at the same time, it feels like Jessica's storytelling style, like she used to have back in the old days, but it has grown, it has matured, it has aged, it has, been fermenting like fine wine. And I think that balance is what makes this comeback work so well. That's what makes it go like, mwah, chef's kiss on her storytelling. When I look back at Season 1, it honestly feels cozy, simple, and experimental in a good way. The story focuses a lot on exploration, comedy, and slowly building this bond between Aphmau and Aaron in this universe. And I think that's what makes Season 1 so charming. It wasn't trying to be overly complicated in the world building, but more or less focusing on the bond between the two main leads. It felt like Jess was experimenting with this fantasy of pirate and mermaid setting, while still keeping her classical role-playing humor and emotional moments. The relationship between Aaron and Aphmau was honestly the strongest part of Season 1 for me. Watching them slowly trust each other and spend more time together made the emotional moments feel rewarding later on, especially near that so adorable reunion at the end of Season 1. But at the same time, Season 1 definitely had its moments where the pacing just kind of dragged on. Some scenes lasted longer than they needed to, and some side moments just always didn't feel like they were that important to the overall plot. And Aphmau as a character also felt a little bit more naive and childlike than in her other series. She just felt way more. Of course, it does make sense since she was in that bubble of Mariana, but I don't know, it just felt a little too much. It also felt like she sometimes didn't fully understand the consequences have certain actions afterwards. It did make great for comedic relief though. It was fantastic for that. But then Season 2 starts, and almost immediately you can feel the difference. It's not just visually, it's emotionally too. The animation and the character movements are way more expressive now. The emotes, the camera motion, the lighting, the sound design all make the world feel more alive and cinematic. But honestly, the biggest improvement for me was definitely the writing. Season 2 felt more emotionally focused. The pacing is tighter and the scenes transition way better, and the side stories just feel way more connected to the main plot. They don't feel as fillers, but necessary and important to the story itself. Every episode feels like it's building and building and building into something important, to the main focus of the plot, or to answer the questions that we were left in doubt with when we started Season 2, because Season 2 started with so many questions. I mean, so many. And through it all, even though the story now is just way more complex and there's so many questions now to ask for this second season, it still keeps that same comedic relief and warmth that Jessica's roleplays are known for. One of the biggest differences between the two seasons is definitely the emotional maturity of the characters, especially between Eren and Aphmau. And no, let me finish, let me explain, I know exactly what you're about to say, and it's, well, that story did change because now we have Eren using a ton of swear words. Okay, I get it, it's funny and it's amazing to all of you, but leave me alone, let me get to the plot. So, in Season 1, their relationship felt more like strangers slowly becoming close friends, while in Season 2, it felt deeper. You can tell these characters know each other now. They don't always need words to convey how much they care for one another. And honestly, I think that's where some of the best writing of Season 2 comes from. It's the quieter emotional moments that matter. Like when Eren comes out of that brainwashing and the first thing that comes to his mind is definitely worrying whether he had hurt her or not. Or when he tries to protect her from the Marines because he knows how dangerous it would be for others to discover that she is a mermaid. Those scenes work so well because you can feel the emotions and they feel believable. You can feel Eren's intensity of fear and overprotectiveness over Aphmau, and you could feel Aphmau just focusing on trying to comfort him, distract him from all the darkness that the world has. And the relationship feels stronger because the story lets their actions speak louder than their constant dialogue. It expresses things that only the human eye can see versus the constant mouthing. And another thing to notice is how much more alive the world feels. Season 1 mostly stayed focused in one location with a simpler world building. But in Season 2, it expands to probably the whole universe that this takes place in. We explore more islands and ports and creatures and side characters. And each location actually feels important to the world, instead of just being just the background setting. Even the side characters feel more memorable now, because each of them have their distinct personalities and their roles within the story, and how they affect the main characters, and even some of the sided characters that are important to the main characters. And definitely, the stakes feel bigger, the tension feels stronger, and the emotional scenes just hit harder, because the story has finally given those moments time to breathe, for us to really process what's happening. And honestly, as someone who wants to create her own fantasy stories someday, hopefully very soon, remember to subscribe and like, this series was actually really inspiring to watch from a writer's perspective, because I think Mermaid Tales shows something really important. Good storytelling takes time, and sometimes creators grow alongside their stories. Season 2 feels like the story had more time, more experience, and more refinement behind it, and I think that's encouraging as a future creator, because it reminds me that storytelling doesn't become amazing overnight. Sometimes the best thing you can do is keep improving, reviewing your work, and learning over time. And honestly, I think one reason Jessica's stories connect with so many people is because they focused more on emotional connection than trying to be overly complicated. The world is fantasy, yes, but the emotions feel understandable. And I think that's why so many fans stayed emotionally attached to these characters after all these years. So overall, I definitely think Season 2 is the stronger season. The animation is more expressive, the pacing feels smoother, the emotional writing is stronger, and the story feels more cinematic overall. But at the same time, I still appreciate Season 1 for what it is. Without Season 1's simpler and more experimental storytelling, I don't think Season 2's emotional moments would hit really as hard as they do. And honestly, I'm really excited to see where Mermaid Tales goes from here. Because if the rest of Season 2 continues improving at this amazing level, I think it might become one of Jessica's strongest roleplay stories yet to date. But if after this recording, after I post this, if that new episode comes out, I'm gonna be a little mad because I would want to review it, but it's fine. I'm excited. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you want to see more storytelling reviews, fantasy discussions, and future creator content from me, feel free to subscribe. Remember, subscribing and liking the video really does help the algorithm and myself. And it's great to be back, guys. And a WolfHero out.